Hello, everybody. I'm still alive, I think at least. I'm just getting a little critical of what I'm actually going to release on this channel, hence the big gap in uploads. This is actually complete rewrite number 3 of trying to make a coherent series of words to convey the legacy of Dragon's Lair. And don't worry, the dialogue isn't this bad in the actual sequence. So let's start the actual sequence. 1983 is the year, and the average cost of a new house is $82,000. The HBO original series Fraggle Rock debuted, and most importantly, Advanced Microcomputer Systems developed and released the topic of the day, Dragon's Lair. Here's a couple of powerful names for you: Gary Goldman, John Pomeroy, and Don Bluth, established and respected animators and artists with Disney experience, as well as fresh off the critically adored cult classic known as The Secret of NIMH. Wasn't really a successful film in the box office, but it's beloved nonetheless. Throw all those guys together with Rick Dyer, founder of aforementioned company Advanced Microcomputer Systems, and I mean something had to happen, right? Yep. June 19th, 1983 debuted the Laserdisc player arcade game, Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair, a fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon. You control the actions of...
What exactly is it, though? Why is it important? This just looks like an animated movie. Where's the actual gameplay? Well, that's kind of the point, you see. This game is more or less a movie you interact with split-second QuickTime events. So to enjoy the full, beautiful Don Bluth animation sequence, you have to either have some heavy-duty memorization skills, or more what I assume they were looking for, a ton of quarters, or something like that. The game made use not of your standard arcade board, but a Laserdisc player, hence the seemingly incredible graphics, especially for 1983. But actual development of the game is just as impressive and fleshed out.
The task of putting the game together was awesome. 13 animators sketched 50,000 drawings of the characters in action. 24 drawings for each second on screen. The drawings were then transferred onto clear plastic sheets called cells and painted. Intricate, detailed...
Frankly, the budget given was just nowhere near large enough to support the project, being just over $1 million in its entirety, and this led to a few humorous behind-the-scenes facts about the game. For instance, the only professionally voiced part of the entire thing is the demo mode set to play if the machine is left idle, with all other voices just coming from staff at the time. Another well-known fact behind the designs is that with the aforementioned all but non-existent budget, hiring models to base characters off of was completely out of the question. So in Princess Daphne's case, they just, referenced Playboy instead. With just 1 month of release, 1,000 machines were reportedly distributed, with thousands more on the way across America. Long lines were reported everywhere, and the game reportedly made the publisher $32 million in just its first year, and earned acclaim as the most influential game of 1983, spawning a pseudo-follow-up game, Space Ace, and a planned sequel in Dragon's Lair 2. However, 1983 also housed another extremely important event in video game history.
The competition in this industry is so fierce the game makers won't even tell me the names of their new games, which are due out in October. But we did manage to get a glimpse into the future.
What Sam Dicker does for a living is to invent video games.
In 1983, the video game market suffered what is referred to as the crash of 1983, or Atari shock in Japan. Due in part to the increased competition from widespread home computer use, but more devastatingly, a complete oversaturation of consoles and games flooding stores. You had the Odyssey 2, the Intellivision, several Atari consoles, as well as rip-offs like the Tandyvision, and in 1982, everybody wanted a piece. But with said market flooding, it basically killed the entire market in its tracks. Market revenue dropped from $3.2 billion at its peak to $100 million total, a reported 97% drop-off, destroying the market in the short term and souring many companies on the ideas of electronic games in general, smack dab in the middle of Space Ace's release. While Space Ace and Dragon's Lair 2 suffered substantially in the long run of things, the original's reputation, for the most part, wasn't tarnished too badly. But in the long run, it made a very, very powerful comeback, and even had a short cartoon spin-off from 84 to 85. Thankfully, properly voice acted. Or something like that.
I've been waiting for you, knight. Come and join your princess.
However, it's not animated by Don Bluth, so you can skip over it. Thankfully, after the widespread success of the Nintendo Entertainment System more or less taking us out of the Crash's slump, the game was able to prosper and receive a more widespread layout of ports, remakes, and other versions, numbering in the dozens in 2019. And it seems it's back to being the fondly remembered title it was during its initial release. What is the legacy of this groundbreaking piece of electronic art? Well, for a lot of kids and adults alike, this was the first time being exposed to the distinct and frankly adorable art of Don Bluth, being a venture the man is very proud of even now. And after crowdfunding, a movie is reportedly in the works to be made by the artist himself. Beyond this, ask anyone with any history playing the game, and they'll all attest to its long-standing appeal. It's earned a reputation for being one of the most important games ever made, and I think that's a reputation it's deserved. Dragon's Lair was a dream and a risk in a market with nothing like it, and it quickly cemented that this risky move by a company with such a short history was right to take the leap.
Lead on, adventurer. Your quest awaits.
So that's my hot take on the arcade classic Dragon's Lair. Not really a hot take though, just kind of a bring up to snuff thing. You can call this the second installment of the bigger, better channel. While this means more sizable gaps in uploads to try and fit this in my life, I by no means am abandoning this channel. So stay tuned. Anyway, have a good day and all that jazz you're used to. See you next time, whenever that is, and have a wonderful day.